I just want to say, Jordan, that I don't think you've cut your hair since we did the third Double Motorcycle album, and
I
it's
have not.
amazing.
I haven't cut it since COVID began.
That was
So
4 or 5 years ago, almost
yeah, it's
five
been a
now.
long time. My hair was at like Chris's length when I like a
That's
little
crazy.
longer than that when I stopped. And yeah, I haven't got not gone back. I see no reason to now.
Never going back
I'm
again.
beyond that point.
What a fantastic, we willed this into existence on last week's episode out of nowhere. I said, we should talk to Jordan. And Chris said, okay, Jordan will be on next week. And then I texted you.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
a weird order for that to have happened. Hey, I love it though. That's
When you
great. I'm
said
glad to
you'd
be
do
here.
it, I was like, there's a Thanksgiving extravaganza. Jordan Miller, so many things, so many ways to describe you, and we'll get to them all. How are you, sir? It's been too long.
I'm great, man. It's cool to be here. Back on the show for second time, man. How you been? How both you guys been?
Just
I don't been a while.
wearing thing t-shirts. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know. I love the throwback. The thing was awesome.
This is 2017 too. So
Yeah,
it,
Jordan, I'm looking at the archives. Jordan was on May 31st, 2022. So it's been a long time.
Oh wow. Wait, so you did that many things? Was it went for that many years? Wow,
you
that's
mean the
cool.
podcast or the thing?
The thing.
No, the thing.
Oh,
We only
oh,
did
oh,
three
yeah. I was on the
things.
show 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
that would
on this
make
show.
sense.
We
That's
did
cool.
three things. I
You know
have
what? I think when I was on the show, I was just like gearing up to start shooting this movie. And now I'm done.
really.
And here we are. Yeah.
This is so perfect. Wow, it's a
I
Thanksgiving
remember that.
miracle.
It is. This has come out on Thanksgiving.
This is going to come out tonight.
Woo! All right. Yeah, to bring
Our
us into
crack
Thanksgiving. I love it. It's this
post-production
is
team.
Drinksgiving. You know about that, right? That's what people do.
Hey
That
man.
is what people. I have
Oh,
my
that's you're doing it.
Yeah.
blackberry tangerine seltzer. It's
Are you
just the
doing it,
best.
I
Jordan?
no, I'm not. I try. I don't go face the bars on a night like this. That's for sure. But actually, what am I talking about? I haven't been to a bar in like a long time. So, but
Right.
this is an extra excuse for me to not go out. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. But no, I'll just stay at home and just smoke weed like regular people.
That's like regular people. I wanna do something I've been begging to do for about 4 years now, and it's this. You rolling, Jordan?
You're rolling. Aren't you recording this?
Remember that we left it's on the album. You probably don't remember that, where you can hear me say in the background,
Oh,
"You rolling, Jordan?" So I haven't
you,
said
you
that.
had me triggered. I'm like, oh shit, am I I'm not rolling. You have no idea, dude. I'm a camera operator a lot of times, and that's like triggering for me to be like, oh my God, I wasn't rolling. I didn't get it. I'm fired.
Interview was going so well
Oh yeah,
until
until I
just
got
now.
fired. Never gonna work in this town again.
Well, I mean,
So
let's talk. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
yeah, the only ones. So tell me, I watched the trailer. We got our tickets. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Very
Oh
excited.
yeah. You guys are both gonna be
Um,
there?
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
it's gonna
That's
be
awesome.
awesome. We
That's
got
awesome.
the original 8 p.m. Time. We did
Oh
not get
yeah.
the encore because it was so popular. We're gonna be the first ones in, and I cannot wait.
Dude, the 8 p.m. is the one to be at because we're doing the cast and crew Q&A after the 8 p.m. one. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out Specialties for making this awesome backdrop that I
Hey.
just picked up behind me.
Ooh.
Actually, I just like unfurled it for the first time for this podcast. So
It looks
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
The
they're
best
they're
part
great.
too, we are a audio only podcast now, but for folks
So no
for
one can
folks
see it.
that for folks that want to
That's
contribute
hilarious.
monies, maybe we'll send you the video file. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
our
totally.
Patreon. Our
But
OnlyFans.
so
We
so so
could.
so tell us the only ones. Tell us about it. Tell us that you're excited about it. Sell us on this movie.
All right, I am excited about it. So I got that one out of the way. Um, the only one, the only ones is a feature length horror thriller that I wrote and directed. And it's like a character driven kind of piece. It's very much inspired by some of the darker comedy aspects of movies like Burn After Reading, which are like these
Yeah.
strange situational kind of movies. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with this, because the idea with this is it's not a traditional slasher in the way of uh an antagonistic character lurking in the woods picking off your characters one by one. This is more of like a self-destructive type movie where the characters bring everything they need to self-destruct in with them, and set into motion sort of a chain of events in which that happens. And they don't know who to trust, and they all sort of turn on each other. And as the deaths are piling up, you sort of learn more about the characters and their sort of inner conflicts and what's going on. And so that's kind of what the movie is.
Where
Little bit of horror slasher play. We're like knowingly playing in certain tropes of the slasher genre, so we can subvert some of those things as well. It's like a little bit of dark comedy, definitely some character drama. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
The twisty and turny, are there
Yes,
surprises?
it's twisty and turny. It's very twisty and
Oh
turny.
man, I'm
Do you
so
like twists and
pumped.
turns, or do you
I
hate
w-
twists and turns?
I love that.
All right.
The only thing worth watching is twists and turns.
Oh,
I've
good,
been I've
good.
been watching Slow Horses on.
So, I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's an Apple TV show. I don't think Chris watches it. It's like a
I don't watch it, but it's Gary Oldman.
yeah.
Oh, well, then it's probably great. Yeah, he's
It's
awesome.
great.
What kind of character does Gary Oldman play? Because you never know with that guy.
He plays he plays an MI5 agent, for lack of it's actually called a slow horse. It's like the rejects, the kind of agents who fucked up too much and like got demoted, but he's also brilliant.
Oh, okay,
So
cool. That's
it's like
Gary. All right, cool. Brilliant, but demoted.
brilliant but demoted.
That's
It's
cool. It
amazing.
happens as all
I
of us.
need to do a better job of describing that show.
I was
apologize.
hoping you were gonna say it's kind of like Seabiscuit, but just really differently paced, and instead you
Oh,
went with
interesting.
it. I mean, see, Colin, you can try it like that.
Let's-
Seabiscuit. I mean, I just didn't expect for you to go for a Seabiscuit reference all of a sudden. You never know.
um,
when
let's
that's
uh
coming.
Slow
start-
Horses. What
you
else?
rolling?
What other movie could you do? Black
Yeah.
Beauty.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like Black Beauty, but
So it is like
more-
It is actually about real horses.
No, it's about
No, it's not.
the
So you're
CIA.
doing it.
The British.
Now I know
Central
less about what this
Intelligence.
movie's about or show's about
It's
now.
you know what it doesn't matter. Let's get back to this movie. When I want to talk more about your movie, Jordan.
All right. Fine. Fine.
So you said that I think from start to finish, and it would have been about what, 2 years, 2.5, 3 years?
Yeah, about
for-
2 years.
Where
started
did you
shooting.
film?
Kind of all over the place. Our main location was out in Shenandoah Junction, West Virginia. It's like not too far from like Shepherdstown. And then we shot a little bit in Frederick. We shot a little bit in Baltimore. I guess that's the main locations, those three, but mostly West Virginia.
What was the biggest hurdle? Were there times where you're like, man, I don't know?
It was surprisingly smooth through most of shooting. But someone did get COVID at some point, and like that was the kind of the shadow that was hanging over any production at around that time, because if somebody got COVID on a production, the whole thing shuts down unless they're not important, but this was like our star. So then nobody can go, and they there's like 2 weeks of time before you can even really schedule it again. That only happened once, thankfully, but it was like a humongous shoot. It was like because the finale of the movie involves rain and a storm, so you don't wait around for a storm. So like when to fake rain for a movie, you bring like a truck out and it's full of water, and you have an operator who like gets it up in the air and sprays it down. And we had it all lined up for the day, and it was this whole thing, and that was the day we had to like
no.
uproot. And luckily they were really generous with their rain, so they were able to stick with us, and we rescheduled it and got it done. And that alone was probably one of the most difficult parts too, is just sort of juggling fake rain on top of the shoot. It was my first time sort of dealing with that kind of madness.
I thought Chris was going to jump in, but I guess not. I think.
No, I'm just.
Welcome
It's
to the
just,
Slow Horses podcast.
yeah. Black Beauty is next, and it's actually exactly what Slow Horses is about. Now, I just was just kind of thinking, it's like, that's cool that people have. I guess is it their job to quote unquote make it rain, or is it like, are they like a water truck that does other things?
No, they're there to make it rain, baby. Like the specifically the guy, his name is Hank Atterbury, and he's a great guy. And he owns a company that's like specializes in like atmospheric effects. So when your movie or your TV show needs like lots of haze or fog in the outdoor shots, or like rain like this was, like they would kind of handle that stuff. Wind, for instance, would be a thing that you gotta have specialty people help you out with. And they were working, there's a show called Lioness, and they were working on that show in Baltimore, but they didn't need rain, so like all of their rain stuff was sitting at their facility. So I was able to kind of get a sweetheart deal with them and use that. And luckily, my location was like really close to where that rain truck already was, so things just kind of worked out for us.
That's
Chris is like,
incredible.
Chris is like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, Chris, that was enough for Chris. That's fine. We don't need him. Fuck him.
So
I
this is our show now. Listen,
it's yeah.
listen.
What do you want to talk about?
I'm your Chris now.
We're
All
gonna
right.
talk. So drums, Jordan. Let's talk about drums.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah, sure. Let's talk about drums.
it seems like it would be expensive, for lack of a better word. And I don't think you want to name prices for people, but it's like to hire that level of effects, you're really going all in, aren't you?
Oh, totally. But like part of going all in is like trying to sweeten every pot so I can get it as cheap as possible. So don't you think I didn't take Hank and his wife to dinner and like you know, charm them as much as I possibly could to like give me as good of a deal. And it didn't hurt that they were already working Lioness, so I don't think they were hurting for
Right.
jobs at the time. They were in
Yeah.
that for like months, you know. So we were just a little tiny project who they could help out you know, while they do much bigger things.
If you had to take someone out to dinner, where are you taking them out to dinner?
We picked this random place that was halfway between us, and it was like this little seafood restaurant. And I couldn't even tell you what it was called,
Long
but
John Silver's.
yeah, this little yeah, exotic place. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Uh,
y- you are one of the rare people I've ever met who says you're going to do something and you do it.
Yeah,
And
that's important to me. That is literally a very important thing to me. Yeah.
and I remember having a conversation with you years and years and years ago saying that you were going to really pivot full time toward making movies and trying to be involved with that as a full time thing. Definitely more so than music, more so than the other stuff that you had kind of been known for around town. And you've actually done that. Now,
Yeah.
what's the secret to doing something you say you're going to do?
That's a cool question, actually. I don't know the answer to that fully, other than like it's like your word is your bond, man. Like your word is like,
Persistence.
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna speak it out loud and make it like a thing and known, like I feel like you better be able to back it up because like otherwise, you know, it's just empty talk. So like I don't know. It's very important to me if you say you're gonna do something to do the thing that you say you're gonna do. But I like try to put in work before in the thing before I start talking about it. So it's like more of a real thing. And I mean I don't know the answer to this question exactly.
It's a
Besides like
very
you just gotta like you gotta really love that thing and want that thing to be a real
thing.
a reality, you know? Like
Right.
I love movies. I wanted to been looking for the next thing I could make, the feature I could make, and this was really it seemed like a good thing, a good story, achievable at like a budget that we could, you know, wrangle.
I
Um
have one more
and it's like
question on.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I would just say that like there's kind of no other option. Like I'm this is a very tough kind of environment to navigate. You know, it like you guys know, music is insanely tough, and insanely competitive, and the indie film community is no different. You know, so yeah, it's you just really gotta like work your ass off to try to be noticed in that kind of you know ocean of other projects and other things being made. So you just got to really dedicate it to it.
I was going to ask back to Colin's question of, how do you do it? What words of advice would you give for people that are really, because you're in a business and not dissimilar to the music business. There's a lot of people that will say a lot of things and then they never follow through. I'm assuming you work with those type of people. What words of advice would you like to give to those people, or
Mm.
how do you find the balance of working with those guys or people that are just like, hey, yeah, I got you, and then just never kind of follow through? Because I feel like that would kind of be a little disheartening.
Oh yeah. It's rarer than I found it in music. That's one thing, but it's not non-existent. And the thing I would recommend is get stuff in writing. Like when someone says they're gonna pay you an amount for a job, get something in writing. Even if it's like down the street, and it's like, you know, unless you really know these people or trust these people, that's the way to go. Because like the thing about uh being an indie film director is that nobody gives you this job,
No.
right? You just tell people that, hey, this is my I do this now. This is my job. You've just become an indie film director. Uh and so you could be anybody, and it's a very easy area to find like predatory filmmakers who are just like are trying to, you know, get free work or get as much as they can for free, or like who even knows? I've worked projects that were like shady and then never came out, and like who knows? There's all kinds of weird stories, but like
Mm.
people are always trying to get one over on East Coast filmmakers specifically because we don't live in like a market. Well, I mean, New York and Atlanta are different, but like where we are right here, it's not like California where there's more everyone's union or like and everyone's a little bit more disheartened to it. People get excited about working on a film production and they might get taken advantage of.
Hmm. Was there any, I guess there's tax incentive for doing stuff in West Virginia versus Maryland? Is that one of the reasons why you picked West Virginia, or does that not apply?
No, no. There's actually some good tax incentives for Maryland too, but West Virginia does like people to film there. But we're like a micro budget feature. We're like around like a 50K type project, and it was really came down to location. Like I was looking for a good location. Like the whole script centered around a good single location mostly, and then floating around a few other spots besides that. So it was really came down to work, and I find a house that works for us that I can get that much access to. And I was able to reconnect with a friend from high school who had moved back to the East Coast and had bought like this really old farmhouse, and it really worked out.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
and she lived just over the line in West Virginia, so we just shot there.
Now, you do other things, right? In between this being your project, you do other sort of cinematic services. You worked on other things during this? Is that
Oh
correct?
yeah, I'm constantly like that's how like I wasn't paid to do the only ones. The only ones is a brainchild that I drummed up financing for and paid for myself, and got made it happen. But like that, the only way I keep any of that afloat is by working other jobs. So I crew up on things all the time. I'm camera department. I'm cinematographer or camera operator, or I'm in sound department. I'm also always editing stuff, so I'm in the post room. Lately, I've been doing a lot more music actually, but like for movies, music. So just like
Hmm.
me locked up, like composing and doing my own thing by myself in the studio, which is a lot of fun. That's kind of been my like way back into music a little bit.
Ooh, are you playing drums again?
None of it's well, there was like a couple
Well,
drum parts. I did
then
have a
you
few
could
little
fuck
drum
right
parts, but it
off, all
wasn't
right.
like actually no, you know what? I did get the drum kit back out because for the only ones for the opening credits, I had like a specific type of tune in mind. So I just wrote this thing and then I had Raven do all these she just came up with a whole bunch of amazing vocals on top of it, and I sort of just ghost played everything in the studio and we made this tune happen. So I had the kid out for that, and I actually do teach drums still. So I'm behind the kid
Oh,
every Monday.
oh,
So
that's
I stay
good.
sharp at least,
Did your
or at least
students know you hate drums?
yeah. I tell them as soon as they walk in every single week. That's the
Do they
first thing I say.
do they know that you hate
I
music
say,
now
sit
too?
down. I hate drums.
Yeah. I've abandoned music to be a important movie director. Here's the list of living movie directors: Martin Scorsese,
Of
George.
living ones, and you
Yes,
start with the oldest one. So
that's why you're going to be number one soon. That's so this obviously lends itself to the next question is do you have another one in the works? You gotta have
yeah,
ideas, right?
This is the
yeah.
only
So
one, Colin.
it's the only one, only one and done,
Oh,
baby.
that really got Jordan. He wasn't expecting that.
Well, it
Um,
was it was so bad. He was
no,
like, "Ooh, let me kind of mask this like gag
you gotta
motion."
look.
This is where I miss doing this in person. That would have been, we would still be laughing from that.
I got some stuff in the works. It's either going to be I have a short film that I wrote that I will either shoot next year. That's the goal is to try to shoot this short next year for sure. And then I have two feature length scripts of varying levels of expensive-ness uh, that I would love to do. So like those would be. I think I know what the one I want to do next is. I have that one in pretty good shape. So all I would have to do is sort of drum up some interest and get that one going. But it's as far as script is going, I've got yeah two and a half features written and a short,
So
and I
the
know which one I would want to do.
you said drum up interest, and Colin didn't bat an eye, and that was an amazing pun, and I wish we would have focused on that a little bit more.
Oh,
But
that was an accidental pun, but
Yeah.
thank you, thanks, man.
when you say drum up interest, what does that mean for people that don't make movies?
Money. It means I
Sweet.
need money. It
And
means money. Me now. I
I
need
mean money.
money.
So
so
But
I can make movie.
But like,
Money.
I mean, like, so when you say drum up money, though, is it like, hey, like you're not going to, hi, my name's Jordan, I'm a filmmaker. Could you write me a check for $50 and then you go door to door? But like, what does that mean from like a fundraising standpoint? Is it like you're working with businesses? Is it you're working with other folks in the industry? Like, I've never made a movie, so I'm interested to know a little bit about that.
I mean, there's a million ways. For that first thing doesn't sound like a bad idea. Maybe I'll start doing that. But
you say bake
you go.
sale?
I have my first band did a bake sale to pay for a little bit of some recording time. I remember that.
Society Ills?
Yeah, we set up a bake sale in front of the movie theater, like very illegally, and sold cook. But who's gonna bust up a bake sale? That's like
No.
cops weren't that bad yet back then, so they weren't gonna be
Yeah.
doing that.
Well, you
Um,
have a political statement to make, Jordan. Make it.
it's about no, there's nothing political about bake sales. All right, let's not drag bake sales through the mud, please. I see where you're trying to take me, and I'm not gonna go there.
Now it's funny though, because we don't have a transcript for this, but he's saying baked
Bake
sales.
sales.
BAKED sales. That's what he's actually saying, people. You when you're baked at a sale.
SAILS.
That's what we used to call drug dealers before marijuana was legalized in Maryland.
Dude, we do a bake deals all the time. Dude, it's
So you,
What was the question you actually asked me? I don't
how do you
remember.
get money? I think Chris
Um,
asked you how you get money.
oh,
and you
dude, yeah,
said you sell your
I do kind
body.
of go around and I like sometimes I do like just come up with a pitch. You know, I usually come up with like I try if I don't have anything shot, I kind of come up with the looks that has what the movie will be about and like brief descriptions of the movie about. And maybe I'll have some like artwork made up or something to try to make it look good when there's nothing shot. I know some producers who I like to work with. There's like a million ways. Like it is sort of kind of what you first described. Without going house to house, you do kind of go house to house
Yeah.
anywhere that you think might have interest in this kind of project and say, please.
Well, so that kind of leads me to this, and I'm interested in this. I'm going to say things and correct everything wrong that I say.
Okay.
From the way that I understand it, then directors, like independent film directors, you make the movie, you have the product. It's a little bit like being an independent musician. You make an
Yeah,
album, and then
it's a
you
lot like
could
that.
shop it, right?
Yeah.
You could shop it to distributors, and then it goes from there.
Yeah.
And or you enter it into film festivals. Maybe it gains some traction, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
Have I said anything wrong yet? So then when for those not watching on the live stream, Jordan just shook his
I
head
shook my
no.
head
Um,
in a no type manner.
but I wonder, it's like, do you always want to be this independent movie maker, or would you love to work with bigger studios? Would you love to sort of sell the movie at a price and maybe lose a little bit of your soul?
I mean, you would always love to not lose a little bit of your soul in the process, but I would love to make obviously bigger movies with bigger budgets. That's 100% what I would love to do. That's
So are there movie houses or producers or anybody out there on that level who you would target the most? Like
I mean, I think there's a
A24.
yeah, no, like I think they're a great example because A24, they're an independent
Is it
studio.
A24 or A24? I always thought it was
I don't
A24.
know.
Okay.
I don't know the correct answer to that. But they're a good example because they don't really involve themselves creatively in what the filmmakers are doing, but they're like Ty West made that whole X trilogy all, with very little I don't think they really tell anyone what to do. They just kind of pick people they think are going to make good movies and let them go do it. So I think that's awesome. So like somebody like A24 would be like the exact place where you would want to do that kind of work.
no,
How
it's
about
cool where it's like they curate all those things and they have a similar tone and a vibe and a look to them, but they're not the same people. I
Yeah.
think being under 40 and kind of, with watching a lot of movies, it's like you just kind of notice that. And I'm drawn to like, there's always something so interesting from, Tuesday to, Maxine, right? Like there's still
Mhm.
similar things in there, but it's still like, oh, it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And then, I can't remember her name, from all of his movies.
Oh, Mia Goth?
Mia Goth, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah.
like there's similarities there where it's like it's there couldn't be more opposite, but they are so similar, and I don't know, I
I
think
mean,
it's great.
even like what was it, Marcel, the seashell by the shore? That's 1804
Yes.
as well. So like all this stuff is like happening there. I think Neon is like really exploding this year too. Like Neon has had a bunch of killer movies already this year. With like long legs
I was
and
about to ask, did you like Long Legs?
loved long. I'm a huge Osgood Perkins fan, and I have been for a long time. So like I love that he's like really had his day with this movie.
What is your favorite horror movie of 2024? We're at the end of the year.
We are at the end of the year. What the hell else came out this year?
Also, have you heard of this
Yeah.
small
Help
shop
me
called
remember.
Paramount?
Stop.
Paramount Studios.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard they're doing pretty well for themselves.
MGM. How about this thing
What
nobody
else came
knows?
out this year?
Netflix,
Remind me. Long
Late
Legs would
night,
probably be up
Late Night
there.
with the Devil came out.
Oh, that was great.
Wicked.
Uh,
That was
that's
scary, man. That was a scary movie.
Maxine came out.
I enjoyed Maxine. I don't think it's my favorite of the trilogy, but I really liked it.
Did a Conjuring movie come out this year?
No, I don't think so. Did it? Maybe.
Dune Part Two came out. Depending on how you squint at this one, Civil War came out.
Oh, right. Yeah. Was that a horror
Oh,
movie? I
that
can't. I
thing.
still don't know.
Oh.
I mean,
I maybe Long Legs. I really did like Long Legs. I think that was
Okay.
great.
So that's the final answer.
I like weird like art house horror movies like that. And Osgood Perkins always like just knows how to creep me out.
So
yeah.
horror is obviously your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I love it.
Give us some recent movies that you really love that are not in that genre.
Oh, The Substance.
I just pulled it up right now.
That
Yeah.
might be my favorite thing, actually. Yeah, I
No
gotta give it to
spoilers.
The
Have
Substance.
not seen it yet. It's on my list
The craziest thing I've seen in the theaters
in a long
in
time.
my adult life. Maybe it was awesome. It was just like a movie like they don't make them like that anymore. It felt like an 80s type of movie, but it was where it was like really gross and slimy, but it was like also operating on this really academic level too, where you can like break it down like on a whole other level, but it was just so good. It was so
The-
great.
The only other one that came up that was interesting, is still in my queue. Is it's the shoot. I just looked at it. It's called oh poop. It's the Platform 2. So the Platform 1. Did you watch that at all? It's on the
No,
Netflix.
what is the?
Oh,
what
it's really good. You might actually like it, but it's kind
I
of
don't
like
know
an
about
it's kind of like, so if I say Squid Game and it's not Squid Game, you might not like it. But it's French, and essentially what it talks about the hierarchy of the social construct of how people essentially are captured, and they're on this essentially this platform. Is you look like you're in a cell, and then every day at a certain time the platform either is
Yeah.
coming down.
I've
and
seen the
and
trailer for this. It looks
yeah.
wild.
And so like level 1, there's like a bunch of food. And so it's like the most gourmet things ever. And it's all about just being like gluttonous, right? So there's all this extra stuff. And so all these people at the top are like Jabba the Hutt sized people. And they're like eating everything. And like and then the problem though is like there's 500 levels. And so
Yeah.
people are taking all this extra food, and you can't take anything to keep for later. You have to eat it there while the platform's there, and then the next day it goes
I
down.
have heard about this.
Yeah,
Oh,
Watch the
this is-
trailer, man.
So it's intense. And
You'll be
then when
hooked.
someone's like, "Oh, the Platform 2 came out," I'm like, "How do you do a second one?" But then I was like, "Well, they're doing a Squid Game 2, so I guess it's kind of like an interesting, whatever." So if you haven't watched it, I really
All right, that's
enjoyed
cool.
it. It's not the right word, but I liked to watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the Saw movies. They just keep
Yeah.
coming, you
Well,
know?
it's like the Terrifier movies too. They like happen at you, right? And then like I love the Terrifier movies because they're just like they're all about pushing the envelope and like shocking you in some way, and I get like an immense amount of joy from seeing people walk out of theaters. I love that.
Oh, you just wait till Thursday, my man. We'll be
I don't think
walking
anyone's gonna
out.
walk. If someone walks out, I'll be happy, but like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Are you gonna
Unless
have
they
a
walk
camp?
out because they just think maybe they might walk out because they just think it's terrible. That might
I'm
be.
gonna have so many
Or
mini
they-
fireballs in my jacket coat.
Yes, yes. I
Or
love
they
that.
really have to pee. But it's 2 Thursdays from now, just for folks that are
Oh, yeah.
keeping
I'm
track.
wearing a diaper.
It's the 12th. Yeah.
Thursday, December 12th. So we're gonna have a link to the second screening has not sold out yet, correct?
No,
As
we
far
still
as you
got
know.
tickets for the 10 p.m. screening. Yep.
Okay. All right.
And
So,
there's an after party happening too. At least, hopefully, it'll still be going after the second one. Definitely after the first movie, Il Forno Vanished Tap Room is gonna stay open for us, and they're gonna have a little after party going for us.
Shout
I
out
thought
to
you were gonna
Jonathan
say the
Staples and the
Wingstop
best
down
pizza in
there.
Frederick.
Well, we are next to Wingstop. You can get some wings.
That's right.
There's nothing stopping you from getting wings.
Or the Bojangles, that's out that way.
That
Now
is,
we're
yeah,
running out of time, and I want to make sure we get this in too. You have a podcast, correct?
yeah, man.
And
Yes.
so we want to give you time to plug your podcast. Tell us, you talked about it before, but you guys are still going and you are wildly more successful than we could ever hope to be.
We're cruising, man. We're having a good time. So yeah, me and my close friend JB Dunn, we co-host a show called Camp Nightmare. It's horror movie themed, but it's not scary, really. Unless we sometimes we do scary stories, like dramatic reads, but mostly it's conversational. It's joking, but it's also analytical. And we break down movies, we break down franchises, or we do like celebrity interviews, or like whatever the hell else we feel like talking about. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so we do a thing on our Patreon every year where we do what's called a Thanksgiving turkey, where we find a really terrible movie that exists in the public domain, and then we do like a mystery science theater style watch along with it,
Yes.
and it's a lot of fun.
So,
So I have two things.
go
That
ahead.
episode 205 is the last one that's here because you guys are in the 200s, so that's crazy. Number one, but it's
Yeah, geez, that is crazy.
coincidentally enough, it's about the X trilogy. So if you're interested in
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
more about those things, tune in. But what I want to know for Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving themed movies, you've seen the legendary movie about Thanksgiving called Thanksgiving. I'm assuming, yes.
We had the filmmakers on our podcast.
Yes.
That director's name is Jordan Downey, and we had the cinematographer Kevin Stewart. They make movies together. That we had them on the show. They're actually awesome. Like Thanksgiving is obviously absurd as hell, but check out this movie they just made called The Headhunter. Came out last year, a couple years ago. It's amazing. There's almost no dialogue. It's like a fantasy horror film, and it is like next level. And you would never believe it's the Thanksgiving guys who
A
did it.
medieval warrior's gruesome collection of severed heads is missing only one, the monster that killed his daughter years ago.
Yes.
Sign me up.
It's so good, dude. It's so good.
It's a 94
so yeah,
on Rotten Tomatoes.
but yeah, Thanksgiving. It's one of the very few classic Thanksgiving themed horror films. Now
You
we
ha-
have now we have Thanksgiving, like Eli Roth's movie that came out
Yeah.
last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, that was quite
That was
good.
fun.
That was fun. That was fun. Just like this podcast is fun. You've had a lot of big name people, and I'm not even making that up. You've had important people on your podcast. Real quick, can you name sort of what do you think is the highest profile guest you've had on?
We had Tom Woodruff Jr., who's won an Oscar for his effects work. We've actually had two Oscar-winning effects artists on
My
the show.
God, we've had one. You
Well, the thing is, I'm not an effects artist, and I haven't won an Oscar, so I don't think I
Ish,
qualify
yet.
exactly for that title.
Debatable.
But they're also effects artists, so I don't know if they're like the biggest, like the most famous. To me, they're rock stars, but
They won fucking Oscars. Raise your hand if you won an Oscar. I've never won an Oscar. Just
can't.
a Grammy.
I just a lowly. Do they even air those anymore?
You said whammy wrong, didn't you, Colin?
Let me look. I'll tell you in just a second. Who do I
Oh
think?
man,
would
we have to
be?
vamp now. This is
No, it's
Because
okay.
I
You know what I
honestly
love?
forget who we have sometimes,
Oh.
and it's
Didn't
like,
you have people
oh,
from
I know what it
Halloween?
was.
Okay.
From what?
From Halloween?
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to bring up. This was like a thing we did live and we put on the show, which was an Halloween and Friday the 13th live panel where we had certain cast members from the original Halloween. We had certain cast members from Friday the 13th Part 4, and then we had Tom Savini, who's like the rock star special effects artist who made it all kind of happen on the Friday the 13th movies and other ones. And we had them all on stage together, and it was pretty epic.
Was that at 200 East?
That was it was at Creature Feature Weekend. We're there every year and we sort of do like different like panel events, kind of stuff like that. Like one of my favorite things we ever did, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74 is one of my favorite movies ever made. And we got to do this thing where we had the actor Edwin McNeil, who's the hitchhiker in that movie, and the actor John Dugan, who plays Grandpa in that movie, covered in effects. And we had them back together, and we had effects artists from the Tom Savini School reapply their looks from that movie, while JB and I just vamped and like killed time and joked with the audience and stuff. and then they like saw each other for the first time like in their Texas Chainsaw look in like 40 years, and it was like this
That's
really
cool.
powerful moment. It was like really fucking
Oh,
cool. I can swear on this show, right? Well, I just
yeah.
did, so
Oh,
that's
yeah. We'll
good.
fix it in
Um,
post.
Good, thank you. So yeah, it was an amazing moment. Because I love both those actors in that movie so much, and it was really cool to see that happen. So, and then I had to have a lot of beers with Grandpa that night. He can put them away. I'll tell you what, he's a cool guy.
Well, speaking of cool guys, Jordan, thank you for coming on this show. We're going to have links in the show notes here for the only ones, the local premiere. You can catch Con and I there at the 8 o'clock, or you can come and actually get tickets to the 10 o'clock, and it's still going to be fun. The warehouse is great. Get some beers, get some pizza at Il Forno Vanish or Vanish Il Forno, don't know which, or Il
Me neither.
Vanish Forno. You can get your stuff there. Jordan, we're in the spirit of thankfulness.
Yes.
Walk us out in our last 90 seconds here. Something that you're thankful for, and make it as sincere or not as you want.
Oh, I'm all about being sincere. I'm thankful to you guys. You had me on the show. We get to spend this like holiday eve together. This is a nice thing.
I'm
I haven't
so
caught up with
pumped.
either of you guys in a while. We got to talk about movies, which I love. I got to hang out with you guys, which I love. So I'm thankful for all of that.
Well, that's next time it's going to be all drums, so be ready.
All right, fine. I'll talk drums. I'll still talk drums.
I
I'll give
will
you a drum
call
roll.
in sick.
You're calling say we can talk bass a little bit too.
I would love to talk some bass. I'd love to
There
talk
you
some
go.
guitars too. We could do it all, guys. It'd
There you
actually
go.
it could be a fine time.
Christmas Eve, what are you doing? I got some plans for you.
Christmas Eve. Oh, we'll keep the Eve thing going. I'll let you
Major
know.
holidays on the eve of them. It's Jordan
Jo-
Miller. Like
Jordan, I
clockwork.
love you. I love you so much. Before this all ends, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Love you guys.
The Could Be Better podcast is recorded somewhere with suspect Wi-Fi in the United States of America.
We've been without a studio for several decades, but have finally moved to the real estate where the talks tick and the West's yay.
What?
Actually, we're live now, but you're listening later. So please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and Blue Sky. And don't forget to check out our website for literally everything else at www.couldbebettermeh.com.
Also, pretty please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Or don't, and then let us continue believing what we're doing has purpose and meaning, and you like us. And
Plus, don't forget to check out all of our other podcasts exclusively within the Could Be Better Podcast Network, which includes just us for right now, as the other pods be sleeping.
hey, shout to Kiki, shout to Stitch, shout to my magnum opus ish. And hell, if all else fails, check out Smartless, because we were friends with Jason, Will, and Sean.
Wait, we know those guys?
Of course. Welcome to Arrested Development. I'm Colin McGuire.
And I'm Chris Perry. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, this always could be better.